Sorry, Rob. Don't you think it's interesting that the two signings that we looked at sort of to transformers in Eze and Gyökeres, one's on the bench now, not even coming on, and the other one, as we just spoke about, Gyökeres is really struggling at the moment. It's kind of feels like we're going to end up with the same team as last season when everyone's fit, probably just adding Zubimendi to that. So it's, you look at Madueke, he scores 2 at Bruges. He's hardly kicked a ball since. Eze's now sitting on the bench for whole 90 minutes. Ethan, I mean, I don't even argue that point anymore. It makes me feel like Ethan's going to go in January because he just can't get a kick. So it's, if you're Berta, I wonder what you're thinking reporting back to the Concates after spending all that
I don't
money.
think that's the problem, Curtis, if we had the same team that was there last season. The reason that we didn't win nothing in the last couple of seasons, because when those players were injured, we didn't have no backups. Now, if Odegaard isn't fit and available, Eze will come in. That's a better option than what we had. And Eze played against Crystal Palace, didn't play, this game. I think there's times when these players are going to also be important, that the main guys are going to get rest when, listen, I'll be flabbergasted if Eze isn't playing in the semi-finals against Chelsea and Odegaard is. I'll be staggered by that. I think that, the squad will be used. But for me, I don't, it's hard getting into this Arsenal team. Eze's a great player, but he hasn't done what Odegaard's done consistently for us. You know what I mean? Like, he's done it on occasions. You know what I mean? Like the Tottenham game and whatever. Like, but Odegaard's been there for. It's going to be hard to replace Odegaard. And if you are going to replace Odegaard, you've got to put in better performances than you have done. I'm sorry. I think he's been okay. Eze. Again, I don't want to criticise him, but he hasn't been where I'm thinking, you can't leave him out. I don't think he certainly had that performance when he played against Spurs. But listen, from my point of view, if we go on and win the league and Eze don't play no more, I would turn around and say, do you know what, you've done your job, because when Odegaard wasn't here, look what you've done. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important part. When these players are not here, you've got to step up. When Odegaard was injured, he steps up.
Even with Eze, like, I've been pretty quiet on him, but I think Lee made a good point on, since that Aston Villa game where he did get dragged off for that not defending this thing, I said Arteta won't forgive him for that. And I'm pretty sure since that game, he's not played a full 90 minutes. Even the game he started the other day, he came off. I don't know if it's just Odegaard's back, so he's a squad player now, or if that Villa game really did tell Arteta, like, look, he is a rotation player at most.
Yeah. Can I just say, right, as well, there's nothing wrong. Like what Lee said, there's nothing wrong with competition, man. I don't mind it at all, right? If, Eze, you've played a couple of games and you ain't really delivered, and then Odegaard comes in and puts in a performance like he did yesterday, where he scored and he was really good, he deserves to start the next game.
Yep.
And that's how it is. That's how football goes. That's how I know it should go. Players shouldn't automatically think because a certain amount of money's been paid for you or whatever, that you're just going to start. No. You know what I mean? If you're not performing, you know what I mean, then, and somebody comes in and they are performing, then they deserve to get the start. Or unless you're a player, I think sometimes if you're a player that you perform consistently for a long time and you had the odd bad game, I get that you get put back in. But if you're, like, say an Eze, you've come in, you had a couple of games, you're going to have to work your way back in, man. And squads are important. We've seen it this season. I've said it many times. If Arsenal didn't have the squad that they had, we'd probably be about 5th, 6th right now. Because how look at yesterday. We go